Could you imagine having a smoke detector in your house? You have it properly mounted, you have a good working battery in that smoke detector, and there's a fire in your house, and that smoke detector never goes off. I can tell you for a fact that exact scenario happened to this detector right here. All detectors are not created equal. My name is Keith Ernsberger. I've been a firefighter for 15 years, and today I'm going to explain to you the different types of fire detectors, smoke detectors, and by the end of this speech I want each and every one of you to go home and check your smoke detectors and see what type you have, and if you have the incorrect type, replace it with the correct type. So, what is the difference? Well, the difference is there's two main types, ionization and photoelectric. Let's talk about ionization first. So ionization smoke detectors, the way they work is there's two plates of metal, and in between those two plates of metal is a radioactive material that produces a small amount of electricity. When smoke enters that area, it blocks that electrical signal, and that's what sets off that type of alarm. Okay? Photoelectric. The way photoelectric works, kind of similar, two areas, except it's a beam of light being shot across. So when smoke enters, it blocks that beam of light, and that's what sets off that type of detector. So what's best? Which one do you want? You want a photoelectric type of detector. Now, it's actually best to have both because you're detecting the smoke in different ways. So ideally, you want both. You want either a photoelectric detector and an ionization detector, or you want a detector that does both, and they make detectors that do both. So how do you know which one? How can you check that? So on the back of the detector, if you see an I symbol like that, it's ionization, or a P symbol like that, it's photoelectric. So this is a new recent standard. All detectors are like that, but not the older detectors. Typically you're not going to see that. So if you have an older detector, I can almost guarantee you it's ionization. It's just that simple. They're cheaper. They're cheaper, and that's what were put into most houses. So why is the photoelectric better than the ionization? Well, it all breaks down to the size of the particle of smoke being produced. So I can tell you for a fact, in most fires, they start as a smoldering fire. So that's producing a lot of smoke, but it's important to know it's producing a certain type of smoke. The smoke particles are very large. So an ionization detector does not detect those large particles very well. It detects small particles very well, but not those large particles. So you can actually have a fire go for 20 minutes or more, to the point where a person would be dead, completely unsurvivable conditions, and an ionization smoke detector never goes off. Whereas a photoelectric would go off in 1 to 2 minutes. So that's why. It's all based on the particles of the smoke. So when you have a fast burning fire, that produces a different type of smoke. That would actually set off the ionization quicker. But again, it's important to have both. Most houses do not have a photoelectric. And again, that's how most fires start, is that smoldering fire, lots of smoke. Most people die of smoke inhalation, not the fire itself. That's the reason why you want a photoelectric smoke detector. To reiterate this point, you can, and to prove what I'm saying, there's lots of videos on YouTube where they do these different tests. They call them aquarium tests. They'll basically take an aquarium and they'll put a piece of foam in there, and they'll smolder that foam to make deadly smoke, and they'll put both types of detectors in that. They'll put both types of detectors in that aquarium, and you can literally see the ionization detector just takes forever to go off. It goes 15-20 minutes and never goes off, and the aquarium's completely full of smoke, whereas the photoelectric will go off within a minute or two. So and you can look that up, you can check those out. It's pretty interesting. So also the International Association of Firefighters, which I'm a part of, it's the largest organization of firefighters in the world. They recommend that houses have a photoelectric detector in their homes, but this isn't a national standard yet, because it all comes down to politics and money. The manufacturers of those ionization detectors are really fighting in that political atmosphere to try to, again, it's all based on money, but I can tell you for a fact, photoelectric ones do work better. They go off quicker in those smoldering fires, and that's what you want. Actually, there's states and cities and municipalities that are completely banning ionization smoke detectors in favor of photoelectric. So this is happening. This is the reasons why. This is very important that you check your detectors and make sure you have the correct detector in your house. One other important point I want to make is the date. When you check your detector, also check the date. All modern detectors will have the date of manufacture on the back of the detector. It's important to know that detectors are only good for 10 years. They expire after 10 years. So if your detector is over 10 years old, that's another reason you want to completely replace it. So, and the reason is that radioactive material, it dissipates after a certain amount of time, after that 10-year period. So that's why they actually go bad, and a lot of people don't realize that either. So it's a good time to check your detectors. Depending on what type you have, make sure you get a dual detector that does both, the photoelectric and ionization. Yes, it's going to be a little bit more expensive. This here is a regular ionization detector. You can get them for like $5. A dual detector that does both, maybe going to be 10 or 15 bucks, but it's worth the peace of mind. It really is. So please check your detectors. Make sure you have a photoelectric detector at least on every floor of your house, preferably in the bedrooms as well. One other quick point is to also have a carbon monoxide detector in your house. It's good to have those on every floor as well, but have at least one. It's a totally different aspect, but it's a good idea to have a carbon monoxide. But really important to have those photoelectric detectors. Please do it. Your life could depend on it. Thank you.